I've been on a long grind.
All right, guys. Thank you for joining us on another episode of FS Uncut. This is some sort of Arsenal special. We have Channel 4 reporter Jordan with us today. We've got Kwame in his Arsenal kit with us, and we've got Basil with us today, all Arsenal fans. So, guys, I'll start with you, Jordan. How are we feeling?
Oh, feeling good, brother. It's my birthday today. Feeling happy, man.
Happy birthday, man. Happy birthday, man.
indeed.
Dropped it in like that.
Good, man. It's been a good 24 hours.
That's good.
Good
That's good,
birthday
man.
present. Good birthday present from Arsenal, Old Trafford.
It was, mate. It was the best. The best.
What did you think of the game?
I thought the game was a game I kind of expected. There was a lot of pressure, though, Harold, on Arteta that I thought was unwarranted. So the game, first of all, I've heard a lot of United fans crying about, oh, you only won the game because you were just. Can we swear on this podcast?
No, you can't actually. You can't.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
You were only you won the game because you were just less rubbish than we were. We were both rubbish, but you were just less. You were just less run. I'm like, no. There have been previous games in the last 2 or 3 years where it has been a case of the winner is just who is the least crap. Do you know what I mean? This wasn't that. I don't think it's fair on this occasion, and I think I've been on your podcast before, and Basil knows I'm the harshest Arsenal fan you will probably meet. I get accused of being too hard. Like, are you really an Arsenal fan? You never defend us. Like, no, just keep it real. But in this instance, I have to say, I think it was a win where we made United look bad, and I think that because we wasn't spectacular with it, people misconstrued that as, oh no, you wasn't great. We were just rubbish. Like, no. The way Arteta's playing at the moment, what his team playing, especially in the big games, is it's not about being expansive and attacking and exciting on the eye. It's about staying in games, being hard to beat, and knowing that we've got a real gunman up top. That if we do get a chance, there's a high chance we're going to take it and nick the result. So I don't think you need to look at the game and think because Arsenal weren't fantastically exciting that they weren't good. I think it's a different type of game that Arsenal are trying to play under Arteta right now, where it might not necessarily be pretty on the eye, but it's effective. Stay in the game, grind it down, don't concede, and you will always have a chance of winning the game when you've got players like Aubameyang up front. So I thought it was a really good game from Arsenal's perspective. I think, I won't go on too long, but I think from United's perspective, I was surprised, and I'll tell you why I was surprised, because whilst I've been for years, or 2 years, saying Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I don't rate him, and I just don't think he's the right guy for Manchester United. I've never rated him. He is a guy that will have long runs of good wins and good results, and then long runs of bad results. And the reason why I was surprised United lost this game was because I was like, oh man, we've caught United on the start, one of their good runs again. This is not a good run for United. But 5-6 games down the line, the bad run will come. But I thought, we've caught them on one of their good runs. Beat Newcastle, beat Leipzig, beat PSG, drew with Chelsea. I just thought, here we go again. But the fact that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer can't even put a good run together anymore shows that they're in pieces. And they weirdly, I think actually, despite having a better squad than Arsenal, I think have bigger problems than Arsenal.
Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah. I agree with you that the way you set up, because for me, it was a dominant performance, because at no point did I feel like, United might win the game, or United might come back and win the game. So Arteta did what he had to do. Kwame, what about you? What did you think of the game?
I just have to echo what Jordan is saying in terms of you're seeing a transformation of Arsenal, and our biggest problem was conceding goals, being quite soft, not being physical enough in the games, and it's a breath of fresh air. It's so refreshing as an Arsenal fan to see now that we've got certain players. Obviously, we brought in Partey, he's been immense, or he was immense yesterday. But even just seeing the transformation of like El Neni and the work rate that some of these players are putting in, under our previous managers, like let's say Emery, etc. We never saw that. And it's just, just following what Aubameyang was saying after the game, because I was watching after the game, And some of the words that he was using, he was like, the manager or Arteta, he's made us believe in ourselves. He's given us that belief. He's given us that mental mindset, that we can beat anyone on the day. And that's something that we've always wanted. As a fan, as a football fan, but then especially as an Arsenal fan, because we've had to go through a lot. Like the fact that it's true.
Definitely more than any other fan.
you know what I mean? The fact that 14 years or so, 2006 was the last time we won there in a league game. It's a terrible curse to have, and to know that that's finally been lifted. But it was just the manner in which that we controlled the game, we dictated the play. Obviously, we had a bit of luck, with that chance from Van der Beek, where I think it came off the post, it deflected off of Leno's head or whatever. But it was just refreshing to see. And like Jordan said, we caught them at the best time, and I was dreading it. I can't lie, I was avoiding phone calls from certain people for a week, because after the 5-0 and after the PSG and Rashford, Sir Rashford, credit to him, what he's doing outside of football. But the fact that he was firing on all cylinders, it was his birthday as well, the day before. So I was like, I could see the headlines already. Rashford on his birthday, great birthday present for Rashford. You know what I mean? So
someone said he found out Arteta wasn't a Tory, so he...
Everyone let it slide. So yeah, no, it was great to see. We caught them at a good time, and it's just maybe, on Man United's half, just quickly, it's just, for me, I just have to say as well, with the whole Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I don't think that he's the best fit for Man United. I don't think he has control over the dressing room or certain characters. But the thing I really don't like, even though Pogba gave away the penalty, it's just the fact that how everyone targets him. He's the scapegoat. Yeah. Always. No one questions Maguire and how much he cost. And what has he done? And that's the thing I was saying on one of my videos. I said, what has Maguire done? Give me a game where you're like, that was an outstanding performance from Maguire. Defensively, he was amazing. He shielded the back four. He commanded it. You never really have it. Whereas when you look at certain defenders, I'll use Van Dijk as one of our top ones. Even Gabriel, his performance yesterday was tremendous. Yeah. So it's just a bit unfair on the side. Because I'm a fair football fan. I am a fair football fan, and I like to see everyone get it on both sides. So even though like United lost, it's just the fact that they're trying to now blame Pogba, which is shifting the whole attention from Ole and Maguire, even Fernandes as well. But yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy with the win. We just can't get carried away with it. We just need to just regroup, resettle, and we just aim for the next game and go from there.
So Basil, what was your thoughts on the game?
Basil, what did you think, Basil?
I knew he was waiting. I knew he was waiting.
I'm going to hear this.
Especially Arteta. We need to hear it.
No, good. Like I said, as Jordan says, I should give praise where praise is due it. Tactically was fantastic. I mean, he got the tactics right, the selection right. I think he was probably a bit surprised as to how United set up, because United set up not to actually win the game. It was similar tactics to how they set up against Chelsea, which I found surprising, because ultimately, the good thing about Arteta is that he's made us solid and organised as a team. I mean, I think long gone are the days where we're shipping 4 or 5 goals in matches. And I think if we're going to lose, it'll be by maybe 1 goal or 2 goals. But long gone are the days where teams can really hit us on the counter-attack and throw in a flurry of goals. But it's also come at the expense of our attacking nature, which could be down to personnel. So I think even before the penalty, I was fearful it could end 0-0. I never saw us losing. I was fearful it could end 0-0. But like I said, tactically got it right. He squeezed them up high in the pitch, because ultimately they didn't really push up as high United. Put pressure on them up the pitch to win the ball back, and obviously keep them back, pinned on the edge of their box. Ultimately, you saw the 2 differences between the manager. One who had a plan, one who had the right tactics, one who knew how to sort of adapt in that game. and then you had Ole.
So what are you pro?
And they had Ole driving a car without a wheel. So Ole is definitely not at the wheel.
Are you Arteta in now, yeah?
No, I think we shouldn't get carried away. I think for me...
Big vehicle reversing. Big vehicle reversing. Big vehicle reversing.
I think for me, like as Kwame said, I'm not getting carried away. I'll give praise. I think it was fantastic in that game, but we've got a lot of difficult games coming up in our next 4 or 5 games. So it'll be interesting to see how sort of Arsenal manage that. like I said, I'm as Jordan knows, I'm a bit less patient with Arteta, just because, as Kwame said, I've suffered too much as an Arsenal fan to
Yeah,
actually have the
we've seen it. We've
patience.
been there. We've seen it all
But
before.
yeah, but I'll give it. I'll see what he does at the end of the season. I'm not fully
Yeah.
convinced, but at the same time, I'm not. I'm not saying he's the wrong man for the job. I'm just being patient with him.
And with Jordan, do you think is he with us? He's all the way in Kenya, so it's a bit difficult at the
I
moment.
swear. Oh, okay.
It looks like his
But
connection frozen.
what I ask you, Kwame, do you think
Yeah.
the way Arteta is setting up is sustainable? Because I look at Klopp and Pep, and when they came, they focused on the goals. They focused on the attacking side of things, right? Whereas Arteta has decided to go the other way, where he wants to be defensively solid. Do you think it would be easy for him to find? Do you think it's a personal problem where as soon as he finds the right players attacking wise, all of a sudden you have the perfect balance?
That's a good question. I think what he's doing now defensively is something that we needed in terms of setting up the foundation for us. We actually have like a decent defense now with Tierney as well. Like I said, with Gabriel Holding made a surprising um, performance yesterday. Do you know what I mean? I thought he was injured, but he managed to come back in. So it's just about getting the right person out at the back. I think that's our main problem, and having a good keeper. And you know, now that we've got Leno secured, I'm quite happy with that. And then like moving forward in terms of like attacking wise,
Wait,
I think we
you're
have.
assured you're assured with Leno in goal.
Wait, you don't rate him?
No. You know what? Yeah, because Robbie asked me this the other week, and he
Yeah,
said, "Who would you prefer, Martinez or over Leno?" And I said Martinez, and everyone
yeah, I
was,
agree. Yeah,
"Oh,
Really?
what?
Nah,
yeah.
don't
Are
you
you
feel like
crazy?"
it's just the form? Because
No, it's not. Let me tell you why, Harold.
Go
Right,
on, you say your bit, man. Go on.
the issue with Martin is that when you watch him, he's assured. Like when he comes to collect the ball, he's assured. He creates that calmness at the back. The issue
Yes.
with Leno has a mistake in him, so it's very
Yes.
shaky. The defense don't trust him as much as they should. And then secondly, the big difference between Leno and Martinez comes out to catch the ball, and that
hmm
relieves a lot of pressure for the back four.
hmm
Leno, when he comes out, is generally to parry it,
Yes,
and
and he
I think
parries it into danger.
into danger. So
Yeah.
I think because of that, like I said, I compared it to Fabianski. Good shot stopper,
Mm.
but prone to mistakes. And I see the same
Yeah.
in Leno.
okay.
Yeah, no, I do agree with that. That's why I was pro Martinez, and everyone was going at me, and they're just like, "Well, he's gone to Villa now, and why wouldn't you back Leno?" And I was just like, "Look, you have to look at it as well. When we had Martinez, in terms of even like playing on the floor, it was very, like you said, he was very comfortable. You know, he would take the ball with one foot and then pass with the other. He would make sure he gets to that person. With Leno, there's been a few games already where you've seen him play. The ball's been played to his feet, and it's getting trapped under his feet, or he's getting under hit. I think it was the Europa game the other week where, you know, we got caught in possession and then we gave the ball away. Just things like that we can't afford when we're playing against, you know, your top teams. I'm not, you know, no disrespect to Man United because they wasn't really on form, but like you said, Basil, he's got a mistake in him, and at the end of the day, there's not much else we can do. There's not much. There's no other keeper we can really trust in. So I have to put all my faith in him. But I do know he's not. He's not the best keeper for us. But we have to. You know, deal with the cards that we're dealt with, and that's the same with, you know, moving on to attacking wise. I love Aubameyang. I think he's amazing. Lacazette, questionable at times, even though he did have a good performance yesterday. But I did question him the game before. I was just like, you know, where he hasn't hit that peak that I really wanted him to, you know, my expectations personally.
Yeah.
But it's very difficult for us. We don't have control in terms of who we bring in. It's just basically a thing where we have to try and create an environment where other players from outside of the club will look at us and say, okay, this is a project that I want to be a part of. Hence the reason why I was very surprised, well, not very surprised, but I was happy that Partey came here. He's dropped from Champions League to come and play with us. That means that the message or the project or plan that Arteta has in place is something that he wants to be a part of. And like you were saying, Harold, you know, with Klopp, you know, Klopp managed to bring in players, and it was the same thing. It was that same kind of ethos of, you know, come and join this project. I want you to, you know, be a part of this, you know, 5-year plan or 3 to 5 year plan. So yeah, I just think we don't really have a choice in terms of bringing in attacking players at the moment. We just have to deal with it. I think we have enough but it's whether we can get the best out of Pepe, because he's someone again that hasn't hit. He hasn't hit that pinnacle that I want him to. Basil, I can see Basil itching to say something about Pepe.
Forget that guy. Forget him.
No. Because
I'll be so shocked.
You'll be shocked if you see
if he has a competent Premier League career.
He's an enigma. Honestly, and it got to a stage yesterday. I messaged a friend. I was like, I don't know whether it's madness, whether I want Pepe on to come on for Willian. And then the match ended, we won. And I was like, okay, madness averted. Because the issue is that you just don't know what you're going to get with him.
He's
and
so
the issue
inconsistent.
Yeah, that's the issue.
Yeah. Whereas when you look at Saka, so young, 18. He wasn't. There's a few things I questioned yesterday, but overall, he's come in and he's kind of outshone Pepe in terms of his decision making, in terms of his passing, his positioning, where he places himself on the field, and his understanding of the game. So it's good to see that side of it. But yeah, like I said, there's not much we can do at the moment. We just have to create a team where we can get into the position of getting a top 4. So then we can start bringing the players. So what's the French guy's name? Aouar, or however you pronounce it. I think if we was in the Champions League, he would have more likely have come to us. But I think for him being a young player and upcoming, he kind of wants to stay with Leon. And, I respect him. I don't mind that.
I think that was an Arsenal problem.
I think
Arsenal didn't want to pay the money. Arsenal didn't want to
that?
pay the money. Yeah, of course they didn't.
I think it could still happen.
Yeah, it could still happen. I think that one was an Arsenal issue. Is Arsenal being
think
Arsenal?
that they didn't want to pay it, or they didn't have enough money to pay it?
They didn't want to pay it.
Not in the same window as Partey. I think that.
Yeah, that's the issue. I think they had a budget for one, and
it was either or. Yeah,
either or. And so because obviously they tried to lowball Leon in terms of like how much they wanted to pay, and obviously their owner came out with saying the offer was ridiculous.
Yeah. Who else stood out to me, right? I know Partey had a great performance, but Bellerin seemed to have a really good performance. Is he someone that, Basil, you'd want to keep long term or?
No chance. The issue with Bellerin is that the injuries have got to him, so he's lost the speed. And now the biggest issue I have with Bellerin is this, right? He's a good technical player, but offers you nothing defensively and offensively. Because defensively, he gets beaten too many times in one-on-one situations. Offensively, he gets forward well, links up with the players, but his final ball in that final third just isn't good enough. And I think when I look at him, and I think to myself, you're sort of, I don't want to say nothing player, but then when you assess Bellerin, you have to question, what does he truly offer as a fullback? And I think he's very limited as a fullback. I think he's not a priority to replace at the moment. There's bigger positions. There's other positions where we need to replace more urgently. I think we can keep him for now. I think he's a good squad player. But I think long term, if Arsenal really want to challenge for titles, he's one that should be replaced in the near future.
Yeah.
But I don't have a problem with him in the squad right now. I think he's competent enough to play for Arsenal. But I think if he really wants to nail down the place long term, he needs to up his ideas in the final third.
Yeah. No, I second that. I think that Bellerin, from that injury, he hasn't been the same player as before. And as Basil said, that he's lost that speed. He's lost that kind of that thing that he had before. But again, it's a thing where we don't have enough personnel. He, apart from him, we've got Maitland-Niles who can fit in. And
Cedric.
I do
who I have no idea why we gave a 4-year contract to, but
do you know what I mean? But no, I do like Maitland-Niles. I mean, in the period that he's been under Arteta, he has been putting in good performances. But moving forward, we do need to replace, we do need to get a better right back. 100%, I agree with that, amongst other positions.
Yeah, Jordan, we were saying Bellerin had a good performance last night. Is he someone that you'd look to replace, or you're happy to keep him?
Sorry about that, guys. I'm hotspotting from my phone.
It's all right, man. Don't worry.
Madness. Bellerin. I've never been a fan of Bellerin. I've never seen what his quality is. I think when he burst into the scene, we all loved him because he was homegrown and he was quick. And I think that he reminds me, I mean, this is going to sound brutal, but I've always thought of him as like the right back equivalent to Clichy. Clichy, when he was at Arsenal, was really light now because he had great recovery pace. When you're quick, you can get out of a lot of trouble. You're a big threat when you have pace. But ultimately, Clichy had nothing else. His delivery was average. He wasn't very good in a line in terms of the back post and holding an offside line. Bellerin's the same, goes to sleep very often. His delivery, Bellerin's delivery, I think is average at best as well. And I just don't see what he's good at. What are you good at? You don't give goals. You don't give assists. You're not defensively tight. I don't know what you do. So I've never been a fan of him. And now that since his injury, 2 years ago, he seems to, I think Basil was making the point, he's lost a little bit of his pace. So you haven't even got that anymore. Do you know what I mean? However, in regards to yesterday's game, and to be fair, since Arteta's been there, there have been some fleeting good performances where I've been like, rah, fair's fair. I'm not a Bellerin fan. But today he was really, really good. One of our 2-3 best players on the pitch. I thought he was good. But I don't think he was necessarily any better than anybody else. I think collectively the team were great with a couple of standouts in the shape for me of Gabriel and El Nene in particular. But yeah, Bellerin was fine. But I think Bellerin is part of a bigger problem for Arsenal. I wanted us to buy a right back in the summer because I don't trust him. I like Maitland-Niles, but he feels like the sort of guy that if you put him in for 2 or 3 or 4 games, he'll perform really, really well. Over the course of 38 games, do I trust him at right back?
No.
That's
not
but, you know,
sure.
and I
I
feel
wouldn't even say no. I'm just not sure.
But you know, I feel sorry for Maitland-Niles because
So do I.
he's not a right back.
That's not his position.
That's the issue. It's not his position. Like, his position is actually central midfield, and it started with Arsene putting him centre back and moving him around.
Yeah.
And he's never really nailed down a place. And I've always said this to my friends, that when you watch Maitland-Niles play in previous season, he looks like he's not interested in playing that position. And I was like, it happens when it's not your natural position. You sulk after a while because you just don't want to be there. You want to go back to your natural position. So, but I think now he's accepted that he has to accept in this team, he has to be flexible to play wherever.
But
I think
Basil,
now he's accepting it.
If he was smart, and I think maybe if this is a year too late, but if he was smart, he would have recognised that now 3 managers ain't playing you centre midfield, B. They're not playing you midfield. And not only are they not playing you centre midfield, we haven't got a great right back. So if he was smart, I would have been like, boy, if I want to play, make that my spot. Do you know what I mean? It's not where I want to be, but if I want to be an Arsenal football player in their 11, that's where it's going to be there or nothing. And I think that I wouldn't say he sulked, but I think for so long, like you say, he was resisting playing there. He never really committed to the right back position. And I get why. Yeah. I'm sorry, B, if you want to play football for Arsenal, they're not putting you midfield. Rightly or wrongly, they're not paying you midfield. That's Wenger, Emery,
Lundberg as well. Yeah.
None of them played him centre midfield. So he'd have made that, that his own. Just super briefly, because I missed a bit of this discussion. Sorry if I'm going to repeat anything that's been made here, but I've got to stick it on Basil a little bit here because
I knew it was coming.
On the game itself, Basil's an absolute disgrace. On the game itself, I heard fans, to be fair, after the Leicester game, oh, you know what? Arteta, he's under pressure. I'm not sure about this Arteta. If we lose to United, and my like, hang on a minute, we're doing this typical Arsenal fan thing, and to be fair, all fans do it.
Football fan, typical football fan.
We used to do it. We have the most schizophrenic fans I've ever known.
Oh, we do.
I think people need to remember and understand that Arteta is not only new to the job at Arsenal, he's new to the job.
Yeah, that's true.
This is his first 6 months. And what people forget as well, I heard some journalists saying, oh, he's in the same category of pressure as Lampard and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. No, he's not. I'll tell you why, for 2 reasons. One, managers, 3 reasons. 1, they've both spent more money than Arteta. 2, they've both been in their jobs longer than Arteta. And 3, he's got a trophy in the bag. As far as I'm concerned, he's got a year pass. He's got a year pass. He's got a trophy in the bag. Now, whether you like his football, whether you like some of his decisions, I'm an Arteta fan. Basil knows I wanted Arteta when Wenger left. I was the only person that wanted Arteta when Wenger left. And then, he's not playing before. So I'm an Arteta fan. So this is the thing. I'm a big Arteta fan. But I also acknowledge there have been some games this season and last where he's made some wild decisions where I'm like, that was dumb, that was wrong. Why would you do that? That sub was stupid. Tactics were all wrong there. So I'll call him out. He's not a brethren. I'll call him out happily. I'm not invested in any manager. I'm invested in Arsenal doing well. So I'll call him out. And this is my issue with Basil. Basil's quick to come on Twitter and talk about his failings, and that's fair. That's fair, because the failings that Basil highlights, I think, are all fair, legitimate criticisms. When we beat Man City in the FA Cup semi-final, masterclass. We win the trophy against Chelsea, brilliant display. We beat Sheffield United in the round before. All them good things, Basil's missing. Basil's invisible.
Yeah.
Basil. Arsenal like Basil are very quick to get excited and talk about, we need this and it's boring, but they're forgetting, and this is why I make the point also about the Man City loss 1-0 this season. People say, you accepted it, your standards are dropping. No, I'm not.
No.
This is 15 years of going to the likes of United, the likes of City, the likes of
Liverpool,
Anfield, and getting slapped after 20 minutes. Game over. Yeah. So I'm sorry if I don't expect us to go from getting slapped 8-2 to now going to Manchester City and beating them on their patch. I think that what we need to do as Arsenal fans is just be patient. We will lose more games this season.
Yeah.
We'll even lose games this season we shouldn't lose. But I'm cool with that. Basil, I think it was Basil said it earlier on, that all the things this season as an Arsenal fan, for me personally, that I'm looking for, there's many things I'm looking for Arteta to do. Bring on the youth, fix up Aubameyang. But the one thing, the main thing, and I think Basil said it earlier on, that I'm looking for this season, just make us harder to beat. Just make us harder to beat. If you beat us, fine. What I don't want is what's happening last season. I'm seeing stats at half-time against Crystal Palace, against Southampton. 18 shots on goal at
even the possessions that those teams had, more against
How the
that
hell
under the
are
Emery.
Southampton getting 16 shots on goal at half-time at the Emirates? What? Liverpool should be getting that against Arsenal. What I'm looking for this season is Arteta to make Arsenal a team. If you're going to beat us, fine, I can hold that. But make them work for it. And going back to the United game and the City game, and all the big games we've played, we're harder to beat. I can't think of many games where we've lost and I've thought, that was easy. That was absolutely easy. Do you know what I mean? So I'm just saying, Arsenal fans, be patient. I think if we remember, it's not his team. This is not Arteta's team.
He's making do with it.
He is. Give him another summer. Give him his team and then judge him. There'll be some games we'll lose, like I said, that we shouldn't lose. But what I'm asking Arsenal fans to do is don't do this reactionary thing. We beat United. We're great. We lose to Leicester. He's got to go. Let's be patient and really give him the time and support he needs. I didn't give Wenger long because I was Wenger out because Wenger had enough time to show me that he could turn it around again. 5, 6, 7 years, it was clear. You're done, B. Let's give this guy the same grace. Let's give him time and back him, because I believe if we back him properly in the next 2 to 3 years, I think we have the best young manager in Europe. Bang.
100%. Yeah, no, I believe that. I actually believe that as well.
So, Kwame, we'll start with you. So just to sum it up, where do you think Arsenal will finish?
Where I think Arsenal will finish and where I want them to finish is two different things. I want them to finish top 4. Do I believe they will be able to do it? Given the results that we're seeing, which is so inconsistent, I think there is an opportunity for us to do it, but it does depend on the likes of your City, the likes of Chelsea dropping points. But yeah, I have to be faithful. I have to think, you know what? Yeah, Arsenal, I think will get top 4, but it's going to be a very, very hard battle for us, because we're dealing with we're playing up against good squads, you know, with a lot of depth. And we just need to find, as Jordan said, we just need to make sure that we find this consistency in terms of not conceding, being harder to beat, being more resilient. And I think more importantly, it's that mental state of, you know, we can beat anyone. And I think Arteta is getting it, and the players are finally getting it in terms of that philosophy of how he wants them to play and to have that confidence. So yeah, I'm gonna go with top 4. I'm definitely gonna go with top 4. It's gonna be hard though.
What about yourself, Basil? What were you thinking?
People may call me mad. I'm going third.
Go on.
What?
I'm going third. And the only reason why I'm saying that is because the teams are so inconsistent this year, including
Yeah.
Manchester City. I think
Yeah.
ultimately teams have lost that. The big teams have lost. The smaller teams, they've got rid of the fearlessness. I mean, even against Liverpool, teams are going against Liverpool and thinking, well, we can get 3 points against Liverpool.
Yeah.
Obviously, is easier said than done. But I think because of the inconsistencies of all the other teams in the league, I think Arsenal could scrape third because no one is really that consistent in the league. Maybe apart from Liverpool, who are scraping victories,
Yeah.
but no one is really putting in the performances week in, week out to say that we can solidify that spot. And then secondly, you can learn from what happened to Leicester last season, whereas before lockdown, I thought they had top 4 nailed on. And in the end, they finished 5th or 6th, wherever it was that they finished. And I think because of that, I think Arsenal could scrape third.
Okay. What about you, Jordan? Just to
I
finish
think
up.
I said during the transfer window, if we sign a proper midfielder, Thomas Partey, top 4 definitely. Top 4 definitely. Without him, it could be a fight. So I'm sticking with that. Top 4 for sure. I'm with Basil. I don't see why we can't finish third. I know that it's not a great league this year. I know it's early and things can settle down. I think third is going to be between us, Wolves, and Chelsea. I think those are the 3 teams, and maybe Spurs. I put Spurs in there as well, and I didn't before. I don't see why we can't finish third. I think definitely top 4. I'm not even convinced, and this might sound wild, I'm not even convinced City finished top 4.
Wow. So I was thinking that too, Jordan. I was thinking
because of not having Aguero as well.
Yeah, and they probably will. The smart money is on them finishing top 4. I don't think it's a dead certain they finish top 4. I don't think this is a great league. I think that this is about I think it may come down to 2 things: injuries. I think it's going to come down to which manager can manage their squad the best. Because with the COVID, with the lack of preseason, it's going to be there'll be stop-start season. There's lots of games in a very congested time period. I think it's going to be about who can manage their squad the best and keep their best players fit. I don't think it'll be about the best manager or the best players. I think it'll be about which manager can keep their best team fit for the most amount of games. And that's where I think a big squad comes in. And this is where, going back to my earlier point about Arteta being backed, as soon as Thomas Partey was signed and sealed on transfer deadline day, there was no one on the planet more happy than me. I said from the get-go, he's the new Pierre. I know people hate doing that. He's the new so-and-so, but I'm doing it. He's the new Pierre because people call him a DM. He's not a DM. He's a midfielder. He can defend. He's athletic. His short-range passing is great. His long-range passing is good. His assist is good. So he's a complete midfielder. But anyway, what should have happened on that day,
Jordan, I'll have to end you here because we've almost run out.
Sorry.
Oh, he's getting into it.
I was just going to say what should happen for Arteta, briefly, is that he needs to be backed now with a striker and Aouar. The day that Partey deal was signed, we can get excited as fans, but the board should have been working for next summer or next transfer window to secure the players that we need to give Arteta the full team that he needs to try and book title challenge in the next 2 seasons.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for joining us today, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Arsenal special, they think they're finishing top 4 again. So we'll be back. We'll be back in May with all of you.
Why is Harold smiling? Why is Harold smiling?
We'll be back in May with every single one of you. And
That's fine. We'll be there.